Hi, my name is Sushila Lama, and I'm going to give a presentation on the topic of Uluru, the National Park of Northern Territory. So let's start from my first slides, which is introduction. So this is the topic of my presentation that I'm going to describe about it. Introductions. Where is Uluru? This is the map. So I'm going to start from the introduction. In this presentation, I focus on Uluru and critically discuss how it balances tourism, environmental planning, and cultural or heritage values. I reflect on how tourism is currently managed at Uluru and propose potential improvements to enhance sustainability and the visitor experience. So next, where is Uluru? It's in the middle of Australia, as you can see in this map. Another one is concept of the tragedy of the commons by Hardin as applied to Uluru Park. The tragedy of the commons by Hardin covers the scenario where individuals acting in their own self-interest overuse and overexploit shared resources to the detriment of the collective good. In the case of Uluru, this is called cumulative overuse. At the Uluru, tourism would be visitor climbing the rock and trampling secured and fragile areas, while each tourist may think their own actions are tiny and insignificant. The combined effects of thousands of visitors can damage the rock itself and the natural landscape. To combat this is the site now restrictions visitors numbers has defined walking pathways and education program to protect the site. Another one is concept of ISO Ahola's models of tourist environmental interaction with the nature 1980 as applied to Uluru Park. ISO's Ahola's model of environmental interaction discussed two main motivational forces of tourists, namely seeking or escaping, and these determine whether tourists interact with the nature in passive ways such as sightseeing or an active way such as climbing. When applied to Uluru, some tourists who seek professional fulfillment and cultural enlightenment may engage spiritually in reflective manner with the rock and landscape, so paying respect to the cultural and environmental values. The opposite happens to those visitors who want to personal escape or challenges by having an active and engagement with the rock by climbing it. So it's important to understand the ISO Ahola's model to better manage tourists by understanding their core motivations. And the next one is balance between tourism, environmental planning, and cultural heritage. Uluru National Park balances tourism, environmental planning, and cultural heritage by its joint management model with the traditional Aboriginal owners by regulating visitor numbers and visitor access, minimizing environmental degradations using broad walks, designed paths, and interpretive signs to protect sensitive areas, respecting Aboriginal traditions by preventing climbing of Uluru and promoting indigenous guided tours. Now, how tourism is currently managed at Uluru. Uluru Park enforces design walking tracks with restricted areas and visitor education programs to reduce environmental damage of the site. A ban on climbing Uluru to honor and respect indigenous beliefs. Collaborations between Parks Australia and the Angu traditional owner in managing the sites. And another one is a purpose potential improvements to enhance sustainability and visitor experience at Uluru Tourist Park. Install solar powered toilets and bins to reduce environmental impact by visitors. Increase guided culture tours, lead improve public transportation around the site with more minibuses, thus limiting the use of private cars and four-wheel drives and reduce emissions and crowding on tracks. Install interactive digital guide post with multilingual speakers to encourage and creator for visitors. And another one is renewals for Uluru. To reduce the environmental impact of tourism, renewable energy sources, for example, as solar panels and uh, wind turbines could be installed since there are. Another one is renewals for Uluru. To reduce the environmental impact of tourism, renewable energy sources, for example, as a solar panels and wind turbines could be installed. Since there are large areas of empty desert surrounding the Uluru site, there is ample of space to to install solar panels and wind farms. Furthermore, a large battery energy storage unit can be installed to store the excess power of the nights or sold back to the grid. However, we need to be careful that when installing such a large amounts of renewable energy in infrastructure, we don't create ugly eyesores or upset the local ecosystems. Two techniques that are being used at the Uluru, one related to land environmental management and one related to tourism operation or visitors control. The the major environmental management techniques is design walking trails and broad walks which protect the fragile ecosystem by limiting human foot traffic and trampling, preventing damage to plants and soil. On the tourism operation side, visitor permit system, it use that controls limit the number of tourists in the park at any given time to reduce environmental pressure, but also improve the visitor experience by reducing congestions and crowds. Another one is new sustainable cultural tourism products of Uluru Tourist Park. Introduce eco-friendly bush tucker food tours led by indigenous guides to educate visitors on native plants and sustainable harvesting practices. Introduce interactive art workshops using natural materials such as a colored orchards and mud to educate regarding the Aboriginal culture while supporting local artists. Introduce a mobile digital app with a augmented reality experience that super superimpose Aboriginal storytelling onto real world landmarks so the educated and intertrains without disturbing sacred sites. Next is applying a Kotler's five levels of product model to Uluru Tourist Park, which is the core benefit is the unique opportunity for visitor to experience the natural wonder and spiritual significance of the rock Uluru itself, connecting the iconic Australian landscape and indigenous culture. The basic product is the provision of essential park access, including entry to Uluru National Park, market, walking trails, and basic amenities such as car parks and toilets. The expected product includes well-maintained facilities, clear signs, accommodations options like the airs rock campground and access to sunrise and sunset views view areas meeting the standard expectation of comfort, safety, and convenience for a tourist. And another one is the augmented product is enhanced experience such as a guided tours with knowledgeable guide to the cultural center offering immersive exhibitions and Aboriginal culture, Aboriginal art galleries, workshops, and unique souvenirs, as well as amenities like a swimming pool, barbecue areas, and Wi-Fi. And the last one is the potential product. Another last point is the potential product is future innovations such as a new cultural experience, expanded eco-friendly accommodation, interactive AR digital guides, or exclusive conservation activities, enriching the visitor experience and sustaining Uluru as a world-class destination. Now, to conclude to this presentation, ensuring the Uluru Tourist Park product aligns in with environmental, cultural, and community values. It was developed in close partnership with the Angu traditional owners' preservation of both the natural landscapes and cultural heritage. Environmentally, the park should implement sustainable practices such as a renewable energy use, waste minimization, and protection of native wildlife, while actively supporting conservation programs like the Mala reintroductions. And culturally, all visitor experience must honor the sacredness of Uluru, promote education about Aboriginal traditions, and avoid activities that conflict with indigenous values such as climbing the rock or entering restricted areas. Community values are upheld by fostering joint management, providing economic opportunities and meaningful roles of local Aboriginals, and ensuring that tourism supports not disrupt the ongoing transmission of knowledge, rituals, and connection to the country. So the next part is we're at the end of the presentation. Here I have provided some references and situation that you can find more information in details about this presentation. So this is it for this presentation. Thank you so much.